ora and welcome to From the Ground Up. I'm your host, Tangi ora, and I'm a lecturer and a PhD student here at Lincoln University. This podcast is all about the fantastic research being undertaken by our postgraduate students here at Lincoln and the real-world impact this has. In each episode, we'll sit down with brilliant minds to uncover fresh ideas, share inspiring research stories, and explore their student journey. Today, I'm joined by Antonia Olszewski, a PhD student in animal science. Antonia grew up on a small vegetable farm in the North Island, and before starting her PhD, she actually completed her studies in environmental science. Her current research is looking into redirecting food biowaste, such as apples and brewers' grains, away from landfill by feeding them to our farm animals. When she's not deep into her research, Antonia is a fan of playing cards, board and video games, and curling up with a good murder mystery novel. Welcome to the podcast, Antonia. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
No worries. So let's start off by hearing a bit about yourself and what you're studying here at Lincoln.
Yes, absolutely. So I came from Wairarapa. Then I did my honours in environmental science, where I was looking at whether different management practices on the Lincoln University Research Dairy Farm could impact soil carbon stocks. Now I'm in the last year of my PhD and hopefully I'll finish in September, but we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. And what first inspired you to pursue this area of research?
During my bachelor's degree, I realised that environmental science is really, really interesting. I would really, really love the opportunity to reduce nitrate leaching or greenhouse gas emissions. Farming in New Zealand is really a big part of our identity. So any kind of project where we're looking at our farm animals and potentially any kind of reduction in environmental issues. I am in my third year of my PhD, where I'm basically looking at how we can redirect industrial food wastes away from landfill by feeding them to cows and sheep.
What inspired you to pursue that area of research in particular?
I initially did my honours at the University of Canterbury in environmental science with Brett Robinson, and that was on looking at soil carbon stocks on the living lab at the Lincoln University Research Dairy Farm. So I knew Rachel Bryant from that as well. After I finished my honours dissertation, Brett called me up and was like, "Hey, do you think you want to do a PhD?" And I'm like, maybe.
Nice.
He set up a meeting with himself, Rachel, and David Whitehead, who is this legendary soil carbon researcher who works at Manaki Whenua, Landcare Research. And they already had kind of an idea for what the PhD would be. They explained that I would be looking at biowastes and whether we could feed them to cows. Initially it was going to be dairy, but we changed that as we went.
And when you say soil carbon stocks,
yeah,
what do you mean by that?
The organic matter that is in the soil, and that can come from dead plants, living plants, animal dung. Having lots of carbon in the soil is good. It indicates that it's really healthy, and you want good soil because then it can grow you things.
Great. No, I mean, I'm in the business school, so I've got no idea what that means.
Oh.
So I really appreciate you taking the time to explain that.
Okay.
Now, you've spoken a bit, I guess, about your honours at Canterbury,
Yeah.
But then the connections that you had to Lincoln University. Apart from, I guess, the postgraduate team sort of being your supervisory team being formed for you, are there any other reasons that you chose Lincoln for your PhD studies?
When they proposed it, they said that it would be at Lincoln University. I didn't have any problem with that. I thought it would be interesting, like trying a different university from the University of Canterbury. Now that I've been here, I can see lots of differences between the University of Canterbury and Lincoln University, and I'm really glad that I came here. I think it's really cool that it's smaller, so it's kind of more of a tight-knit community kind of thing.
Great. Well, we're lucky to have you, Antonia.
Awesome. Thank you.
So we're in Lincoln, Selwyn,
Yeah.
Canterbury, New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
What does, I guess, studying in a place like this mean to your research?
there's a lot of farmland around here. I think it's really good. Lincoln University has all of these different farms, like the Ashley Dean farm, the Lincoln University Research Dairy Farm, the Johnson Memorial Laboratory. They normally have sheep and deer. I think it's really good doing my research here because I'm surrounded by farms, and that lets me think about how my research could help the real world, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Definitely. I guess you have a close connection between research being conducted and potential output or outcomes of your research.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds awesome. And I guess, would you say then that your findings and your surroundings here do help you keep you grounded as well?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I think it's really good. Yep. I used to go on farm walks with Rachel and the farm techs at the Research Dairy Farm. That was really cool. I would learn lots of stuff about dairy farming, and really cool being around the animals. I really like animals.
Awesome. And I guess, Antonia, then to get to the crux of your research, what is the core question, or what are the core questions you're trying to answer with your PhD?
The current title of my thesis is Beneficial Reuse of Food Processing Biowastes in Ruminant Grazing Systems. So basically, there are two problems. One is that there are a lot of food waste. There's a global hunger problem. So if we can reduce food waste, that can help combat hunger. There's also the fact that in New Zealand, we have our animals graze pasture. But in the winter, or autumn and winter, it kind of is hard for the grass to grow enough to keep the cows fed. And so normally farmers need to buy in some kind of extra food, some extra supplement, so that they can keep them fed. So what I'm looking into is seeing if we can reduce food waste by supplementing it to our grazing animals. It will give another option for farmers.
Great. And I guess just another pathway for what would otherwise go to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
And end up biological emissions.
Yes, because if they just go to landfill, they're just going to rot and give off greenhouse gases anyway. So may as well use the nutrients that haven't been tapped.
Yes.
Yes.
And someone has already gone to this effort to make this food, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. This is really important work, Antonia. And who are you hoping will benefit the most from it?
I think farmers would be an important party that I would like to benefit from this, because they work really hard and I want to give them more options.
So farmers are a core group. Anyone else?
It would be nice to help the companies who make the food waste reduce that negative impact. There's actually an organisation, Venture Timaru. They're looking at reducing the company's impact on making food waste.
Great.
So helping those companies find another way to reuse the waste or reduce it. I think that would be really cool.
And
Yes.
if there's sort of a bit of a value add stream, then all the better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're doing a PhD here, and it's sounding relatively Canterbury-centric at the moment, but you will finish your PhD in September, because we all support you to do so. What findings do you think what impact do you think your findings could have on the whole of New Zealand's agriculture, primary industries?
If we took all of the food processing food scraps from New Zealand that are suitable to feed to cows, so there are lots of milk solid waste, which I wouldn't want to feed back to them, and meat waste as well. But if we took all of the food processing biowastes that are suitable to feed to ruminants and used them as feed, then we could reduce our reliance on palm kernel expiller by about a third, I think, if my calculation is correct.
Is that by the food waste that already exists in New Zealand anyway?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so instead of importing other people's biowastes, we can use our own.
That's very, very cool. We're talking lots about food waste because that's really central to your why, I suppose, why you do this research, Antonia. What are some of the statistics that we're dealing with in terms of food waste being in Aotearoa, New Zealand? Annually,
there are 2.2 million tonnes of food processing biowastes generated in New Zealand each year.
And so with the 2.2 billion tonnes.
Million tonnes.
A million tonnes. That can all be redistributed potentially
Yes.
to our farmers.
Yes. There are some logistical problems that we need to work out though. For example, it's normally full of water, so they can go off really quickly. Either you need to be on a farm that's really close to these factories, or you need to find a way to preserve them. Potentially you could freeze them or dry them or ensile them, but to do it at the scale that's going to need some work from some other people that can help us with that.
Fair enough. You're going to do this part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And someone else is going to pick up.
Kind of, yeah. Just like a proof of concept kind of thing.
And like you say, we're importing biowaste from other countries, which that's got supply chain implications and money in that as well.
Yes.
If we could actually design a New Zealand-based system, that's probably a lot better for everyone.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And how do you see this relevant potentially to the international farming sector?
So there are already farmers who are feeding food scraps, biowastes, to their cows and sheep. There's lots and lots of scientific articles, where they feed distillers' grains, for example, which is the stuff that's left over from making beer, alcohol. But the thing about my PhD is that I'm looking at the whole process. So from importing the food scraps onto the farm, letting the animal eat them up, taking the dung from the animal after it's been eaten, and applying it to soil to see if that can change the soil health or the pasture production, so that it can grow more grass to feed the cows again.
Circular system.
Yeah, circular system, yeah.
Awesome. And how do we get your research into these, I guess, wider global conversations, given we're not the only country battling with some of these challenges? Are you at conferences? Are you publishing?
So I'm really excited I'm doing thesis by manuscript, so I'm hoping to get all of my chapters published. I'm just writing two up now, actually, for the NZSAP conference, which is the New Zealand Society of Animal Production.
That sounds great. Thank you, Antonia. Now, I guess looking a bit inward now, what has been the most surprising or rewarding part of your PhD journey so far?
I really like getting the results and then being able to interpret them and write them up. That has got to be my favourite thing about the PhD. So when I've spent 2 weeks of hard labour feeding some sheep, collecting their dung, it's really, really cool being able to see the results.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
That's quite an important part of the PhD, if
Yes.
you enjoy writing up the results as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'd say you're in really good stead. And what do you hope to do after you complete your PhD?
With the CRIs merging, the Crown Research Institutes merging, I don't know really what's going to happen. But I reckon I'd be happy with anything that lets me write up the results of experiments and related to cows and sheep. Even if it was like greenhouse gas emissions, that would be really interesting. Or even more nitrate leaching, if I could do research on that would be really awesome.
We might have to come and stay at Lincoln.
I might, yeah. That would be all right. That would be all right.
Good. Look forward to seeing you around the hallways, even after September as well. Now, Antonia, if someone was considering doing their PhD or any postgraduate study here at Lincoln, what advice would you give to them?
For anyone who's doing a PhD, I highly recommend you go and talk to other students so that you can hear about what their supervisors are like. I really think it's important to have good supervisors. Have a good relationship with your supervisors. I'm really, really happy with mine. I have Brett Robinson from the University of Canterbury, Rachel Bryant, who's just got the McMeekin Award from the NZSAP, and David Whitehead, who's this legendary soil carbon researcher. So I think it would be really, really good to encourage potential students to talk to other students.
No, you've answered it well, and I actually think that's some of the best advice for new postgraduate students that I've heard. Yeah, because, at the end of the day, your supervisors are really critical.
They are very critical. You do have to talk to them a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And you want to gel with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So no, you answered that really well. You've talked about having 3 different, I guess, workplaces of your supervisors.
Yes.
How has that come about?
That is because I got the Food Transitions Scholarship, Food Transitions 2050 Scholarship. They're a new group which are looking to enhance the PhD student experience, increase our connections with our peers and with different work environments. So we get experience working in the university and also at a Crown Research Institute. I'm really lucky that I got Manaaki Whenua. They let me do one of my experiments in their labs, and I was growing grass in pots of soil after I'd added some of the sheep dung to it. So that was really cool. They let me use their growth cabinets, so it like keeps the light on, turns the light off whenever you want.
Cool.
You can set the humidity and temperature, and that was really cool. The Food Transitions 2050 Scholarship program is really, really cool. Like, I have a group of students who started around the same time as me, so we get to catch up every last Wednesday of each month, and normally that's when the directors invite speakers in to come talk to us. Like, we once had the science advisor in the government come speak to us, and that was really, really cool. Like, they provide lots of opportunities for networking, which is really, really good.
Sounds awesome. So I'm guessing it's financial support, but also that cohorting.
Yeah, exactly.
Personal development.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. And I guess, would you recommend, if others are interested in learning more about it, to check it out?
Absolutely. It is. I feel very, very lucky that I got the scholarship, and I think it's very competitive. So if you can, I would highly recommend applying. But yes, yeah.
Cool. Well, sounds well deserved.
Thank you.
Now, what is the one key thing, Antonia, that you want people to understand about your area of research?
Feeding biowastes to cows and sheep is a potential option to help keep them fed. You've got to be really careful about feeding them new foods too quickly, though, because that can upset their gut, and you don't want that. But using biowastes with different nutrient compositions, like high starches or high fibres or high sugars. If you feed cows a low protein food when the grass is full of protein, chock full that like they're excreting it out through the urine, you could potentially reduce the amount of nitrogen that they're excreting, which could have impacts on nitrate leaching, which is really, really important here in New Zealand. It's in the media lots, so.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm seeing multifaceted benefits.
Yeah, absolutely.
To your study.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And say someone's listening to our podcast interview and they're really interested in your line of work and area of research. How could they get involved or support you?
You could reach out and we could catch up and we could talk about what is needed. It'd be really cool to get a job out of this.
Of course.
I would love that. I'm so excited to finish my PhD so I can get a job, so I can get a house.
If you could sum up your research journey in just one sentence, which I know as researchers, this is very hard, what would it be?
It'll be a little bit slow with a little bit of a break near the beginning, and then it will be hard work, and then just pure excitement to finish writing up the results. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
A real journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we've reached our final session.
Mm-hmm.
2 more quick fire questions.
Okay.
The first one is, if you had $1 million of research funding, how would you spend it?
Holy moly, $1 million. Oh my goodness. That's crazy amount. That's a crazy amount, honestly. We only have like a $10,000 budget here at Lincoln University, so that's really a lot. Oh my goodness, what would I use? Maybe I would use it to investigate how we can reduce nitrate leaching or greenhouse gases emissions from cows or sheep, and I think most of the money would go to labour and sample analysis costs. Gosh, I don't even know if I know the scale of $1 million and what that means for research. Like, yeah, I don't really normally deal with that amount of money. So that's kind of, I'm really not sure what I'd do, but yeah.
You would do good with it though, by the sounds of it.
I hope so, yeah.
Nice. And final question. What is your favourite food and fibre product and why?
I am anchored by the fact that I've been using apple pomace, potato and brewers grains. And so the fact that I think apple pomace would be my favourite just because I can't think of anything else. But apple pomace is really cool because it's like full of sugars which can provide energy for the microbes in the rumen. So
great. Apple pomace it is.
Yeah, apple pomace.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Antonia. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you.
No, you've been wonderful to have on the show, and all the best for your PhD studies. A massive thank you to Antonia for joining me today and sharing your research journey. That was such an insightful kōrero to have. This has been From the Ground Up. I'm your host, Antonia Olszewski. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode and you want to hear more about our postgraduate research and students, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends. See you next time.